Many thanks to the producers who make this mess possible. The top there. All right. God, I should have had coffee before this. All right, Pugnacious, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Can everybody hear him just fine? I'm hoping you guys can. We're going to go ahead and get started here. I guess we'll just go in and talk some Project Zomboid here. So first thing, let us know, how'd your journey with Project Zomboid start? Where did it start?
About 2 to 3 years ago, I stumbled across a video on YouTube.
That seems to be a really consistent thing with a lot of the fan base, going in, getting hooked on those 5 tips and tricks or things you missed in Project Zomboid.
It was a Private Lime, actually.
Private Lime, yeah, it's a common one. Yeah, I think he was one of mine too.
Eventually, I got the game. I didn't like it at first, but I eventually, grew to like it, and it was a very different experience from other games I've played.
Okay.
It has a very steep learning curve.
Yeah, I will definitely agree on that.
I think that's what turns off a lot of new players, because a lot of newer games, they tend to hold your hand, and then they come into this game and you spend the first 20 minutes dying over and over, getting a new character and dying.
Often more than 20 minutes.
I don't think a lot of people like that. But if they can stick with it, they'll eventually figure out. It's a pretty good game.
I would definitely agree on that. Well, before we dive in on Build 42 stuff, I mean, what do you think makes it what do you think makes it worth sticking past those initial dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen deaths when you're only surviving 20 minutes? What do you think is at the core of that? That, if you had the chance to just like pitch the game right here, be like, hey, new players, here's why you should go out and die a dozen times and still love the game.
You can just play it, and there's endless replayability. You can start over, you can choose any mods you want, and you can customize it to your heart's content, and I think that's really what helps it.
Okay, so it's a lot of customizability, great modding community.
Yes.
I do see Dora here just said a little bit of masochism is required. I think there's a lot of truth in that.
Yeah.
Moving on, so you've been with the game for about 2 to 3 years, you said? That's a pretty significant investment. So you would have started with build 40 or 41? I think 41 was still.
41.
41.
On the very beginning of 41.
Okay, so what is your opinion on build 42 then? Of course, taking into account that it's still unstable, but how do you feel about it?
So far, I'm not liking a lot of the changes.
You don't like a lot of the changes, I hear that right?
Yes, I don't like a lot of the changes. I think if they could have added animals while keeping the rest of Build 41's elements, I think it would have been a better experience, because with all the restrictions...
Sorry, you're dropping out there. Was there I think it might be an issue on our end?
I'm back.
Welcome back, Pugman.
Dadgummit, my headphones died.
Happens to the best of us.
Anyway, as I was saying, you have to go house from house in such a slow, rigid, basically unfun order to even clear out one neighborhood, and it would take hours of your actual time just due to muscle strain and the new corpse sickness, the way it works. You have to spend several minutes clearing out corpses, or else you will die from the sickness.
Yeah, the sickness has been really, really turned up, and the muscle strain has been... It's safe to say the muscle strain has probably been the most controversial aspect of this new update.
I really like the lighting, but in my personal opinion, it looks too much like those Dreamscape 80s places.
It definitely has a very trippy vibe when you're out at night and you go from like the warm lighting of the of one place to like the cool lighting of the street lights, and it's very trippy.
Yeah, it's probably just me.
Well, we don't want to assume that. I mean, I'm sure I definitely agree there is a sense in which it feels very, like I said, very trippy, very otherworldly, and it's always been a very grounded game. You're supposed to be, you're some bumfuck in Kentucky. That's supposed to be at it. You're not a guy going through some dreamscape.
Yeah.
We have Saul Alizio here saying it is definitely not just you. And we have some confirmations about the corpse sickness as well. Dora says corpse sickness bothers me, at least to the degree it's implemented. Actual bodies, not that dangerous. You see, I would actually push back against that. I'd say it's there's an extent to which it needs to still be dangerous to have massive piles of zombies. What I would think, and feel free to let me know what you think, Pug. What I think is maybe it could have been easier to deal with the corpse sickness and how punishing it was if you just didn't get so tired dragging bodies. That's my 2 cents. How do you feel?
Well, corpse sickness largely depends on the quality of the corpse.
Okay.
You see, if they died a few hours ago, the corpse sickness would not even be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
But if these zombies that you're fighting in the game are, I don't know how long it's been since the beginning, 2 days at most, they wouldn't be that bad. Now, the longer you get into the game, like in August or September, corpse sickness could really set in because those corpses would be shambling around for months and months cooking in the Kentucky sun, and that would definitely bring some illness and disease.
Mm-hmm. And you do start out in July, the worst of it.
Yeah. You start out in summer, so it'll definitely progress very, very quickly, but I don't think it should be so punishing at the start.
Do you think it's okay?
If there was like,
Please go ahead.
if there was like a progressive incline of it, as the corpses started decaying, the worse the corpse sickness would get.
Okay. So, to be clear, though, you'd be saying the corpse sickness should start before you kill the zombies. Because that's an interesting thing that they did in the settings. The corpse sickness doesn't start until the zombie is actually dead. Knocked out. But you think it should start even beforehand when the zombies are still shambling about?
I mean, I don't care if it's walking or it's laying on the ground dead. If a 2-month-old corpse starts walking at you, don't you think that'll assault your nose just a little bit?
Definitely.
I don't actually know, but do gas masks counteract the symptoms of corpse sickness in the game?
I have to be honest, I've never used them because with the new discomfort mechanic, it's so obnoxious to use gas masks, I just don't bother. Another one of those interesting little Build 42 quirks.
I've worn a gas mask before for several hours, and it was not that uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the discomfort has been a bit much. Even knee pads will drive you insane after a while, which is a bit ridiculous, honestly.
Rid of all the dire stuff. We can move on to what I think see as positive changes.
Love to.
For Build 42. Obviously, the new reworked wilderness stuff, it makes it so enjoyable to actually camp. Before, you would have to really set out to do it. But now, if you're in a pinch, you can actually make it work.
Okay.
Where say your safe house is overrun, the city's full of the zombies, and you have to go into the forest for a little bit to hide. You can actually stay there and live for, I don't know, I'm not saying like a week or so, but maybe a day or two to, I don't know, heal and rest, and then you can leave the forest and head back into the city or continue on the road. And I really like the animals. I do wish they were more fleshed out. I think there should be more animals in general. I mean, only having cows, pigs, and chickens and some deer is a little disconcerting because there's foxes, rats, there should be dogs roaming about, cats, all that sort of thing.
Interestingly, they do have foxes in a meta event involving the chickens, but you never actually see them. Yeah. If you have that setting on and you leave your hen house doors open, they'll get attacked by a fox. Kind of like Stardew Valley, actually, interestingly.
I've never actually played Stardew Valley, so I wouldn't know.
That's a shame. But yeah, it's funny that that the fox does exist in that meta event, but you never see them.
I think they'll be added eventually, but ultimately they're not here now.
It seems like a logical choice if they're adding raccoons. Why not have foxes at that point?
They could have added everything I just said, I think. And they probably will before Build 42 is fully finished.
Would love to see some cute little bin raiders.
Because, like you said, Build 42 is still a massively unstable beta.
Mm-hmm. What sorts of things would you like to see specifically changed? Like, so we've talked about the lighting, but I think we were a little bit hazy, speaking of the lighting, about like what the specifics there were, but as far as mechanics, like what are the things that you're like, this needs to change before it goes out?
I think the utter darkness of it all
Mhm.
should change because me personally, I've been outside. Well, I mean, everyone has been
Once or
outside
twice.
at night. I mean, it's dark, but
Mhm.
you can see. Your eyes adjust to the darkness where you can see at least a few feet ahead of you. Whereas in Project Zomboid, if you go into a containment, we'll say a containment building, and you open the door, you can't see anywhere in
Mhm.
unless you turn on a light switch.
Yeah, as I recall, there was that one really infamous corner in the back of the gas station in Echo Creek that got immediately pointed out because everyone was like, why is this one corner of a gas station in a sunny day, like, unable to be seen? It's very, very
I mean,
strange.
they're going to the extremes with a lot of things.
Mhm.
They need to balance it out.
I would
So
definitely
like with
agree with that. They've
muscle strain, the wilderness mechanics, and the lighting, and I think it's all a bit on the extreme side
Mhm.
because a lot of it should be toned down.
I agree with that.
Now, the darkness of night should absolutely be pitch black. But if there's like a progressive system where it would get lighter just enough so you can see, because that's how your eyes work.
Mhm.
Maybe cat eyes could make it better or quicker.
Yeah, it does feel like with the cat eyes trait, which is a fairly cheap one, you just suddenly gain the ability to see in the dark.
Which is just, I mean, oh, and that's another thing. The devs are pushing way too hard for realism.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Personally, there are others
I,
who disagree, but I'd agree with that.
but I think people are attacking it too quickly.
Okay.
Because imagine hitting someone with a fire axe. You will feel it in your bones. It will jolt you. And having to do that several times over will eventually tire you out.
Mm-hmm.
So fighting dozens and dozens of people is just, or zombies in this case, is not feasible, even if they're rotting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that should be able to be toggled in a sandbox setting because a lot of people like to be the Doomslayer of Kentucky. But
Well,
if
who
they
doesn't want to be the
like
Doom Slayer of Kentucky? That sounds awesome.
you like you said in one of your videos, I can't remember exactly which one, apocalypse mode should be the realistic
Mm-hmm.
mode. Whereas sandbox and builder and all those other ones should be, a little toned down, more gamey.
Yeah, the more arcadey versions.
Yeah.
The ones.
Exactly, like an arcade mode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely a sense in which, and looks like we're getting a lot of agreement about the darkness issues. It's really unfortunate that there seems to be in the discourse surrounding the game a lot of people who are, I would say, and I'd love to hear whether you'd agree or disagree with this. It seems like there's just a lot of people who really like to lean into the idea of realism when it suits their particular argument, despite the fact
Oh,
that many things that are allegedly realistic are themselves meant to make the game a better game. Such as, one instance that gets brought up a lot is the fact that, you go into a house and it only has 2 cans of food and maybe a screwdriver in it, which makes sense from a gameplay perspective because it helps to pace you and keep you from, just having all the food you need after one house. But that's not
yeah,
realistic. But no one
yeah,
talks about that because it makes the game easier. Because it would make the game easier. It's choice cherry picking as far as realism. It's muddled the conversation.
yeah. I know for a fact if someone looted my house in this apocalypse,
Mm-hmm.
situation and scenario, they would find all kinds of things they could use. Not just a single screwdriver and 2 cans of food. I mean, that's just
Mm-hmm.
utterly ridiculous.
Especially given that the people of Kentucky had some knowledge of this taking place, of something going on. I mean, when you get your phone
Well,
lines cut, you'd think you'd be stocking up on everything.
they didn't know this was coming, they knew that the army was there. They knew that there had been a weird sickness cloud coming over the river. But could anyone really suspect zombies? I mean, imagine it from the view of a citizen of West Point. The army's moved into Louisville. They're setting up checkpoints, and you're in this so-called exclusion zone. And they're telling you this is a disease out here. Would you expect it to turn you into a zombie?
Probably not.
I wouldn't.
Well, actually, in 2025, maybe. In 1993, probably not.
In 93, I wasn't around then. I'm a little young for that. But thing is, with West Point, oh God, I'm talking like Biden. With the new towns, I'll just go on to that because I've completely
I'd love to hear about the new towns. Yes, absolutely.
I love the new towns. I think they're great.
I'm glad to hear another Echo Creek lover. I have felt so alone about loving Echo Creek as a location.
I've never gone to Echo Creek, actually. I've only been
I'm
to
alone once again.
Brandon.
All right. It's all right. It's all right. I'm used to it. It's okay.
I love Brandenburg.
Brandenburg is great. You like using the new fire station?
I've died there too many times, I think. I'm not very good at this game at all. So every time I try to clear a large building like that, I just practically instantly die to a corner zombie or something out of my control.
Mm-hmm.
It's just my luck, you know.
Yeah. Interesting you mentioned that, though. I do feel like one area, especially since they added the skyscrapers, one area they could potentially improve the game could be making the skulking around, you know, going upstairs especially, but also around corners and in doorways, a little less obnoxious. Like, it does feel like sometimes, like, an entire conga line of zombies somehow disappears behind a glass window or a very small tree or a corner in a way that's a little unrealistic, but feels like they're trying to give them the shot at ambushing you.
That's the fault of the isometric point of view. It's not really something they could control. I guess they could make it where you actually see what's in front of you. Like, if you look up the stairs, you can see that portion of the upstairs. That would work. But isometric, it's not like 3D or third person where you can just look up there. It's too difficult. It's really difficult to code that kind of thing.
Okay.
You got any more questions?
I was going to ask what you liked about Brandenburg.
I just think it's really well laid out. I really like the way the new buildings look. I love the details on top. I need to go over there with no zombies just so I can explore.
Yeah.
And look at it, you know, because it's brand new. No one knows about it yet. It's not like well documented like West Point and Rosewood yet.
There's definitely been plenty of videos about all the secrets in West Point and Rosewood.
Oh yes, I would love to just stumble onto something like I can't remember the YouTuber's name, but he found that drug lab in the skyscraper.
Oh, Rick Stetrix. Yes, I was there for that. That was so cool. Yeah, I was in that stream when that happened. That was awesome.
I know there's a bunker in Brandenburg.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yes, it's got like 5 levels.
So you're a big fan of bunkers then? You think they should add more of them?
I'm Vault-Tec incarnate.
Nice.
Life is better underground.
All right. Hey, I respect it. Well, let me ask, what are the things... I'm probably going to bring you back to Brandenburg because I still want to hear more about what you like about it, so be thinking about that. But what are things that because obviously, you know, we're sitting here, we're talking like, what are things that we'd like to see changed? What are things that you are like, they better not remove this. This better remain the same and unstable. They nailed it first try. They better keep it. You know, what are the things you don't want to see changed?
I don't really know. A lot of it, like I said earlier, most of the things they've added were to the extremes of either being utterly ridiculous or underwhelming. And I think they need to find that balance before they can, you know, roll out.
Okay.
So I can't really think of anything that I would like to see not changed. It's like bug testing,
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of that going on, yeah.
Now, I have no disrespect towards the PZ devs, but I think they have become way too emotional about this whole Build 42 update.
There's been some stories coming out. I think there could be some truth to that. I'm in the same boat, definitely don't want to speak ill of people who've made a game that I love, but there have been things that have come out that have been unfortunate, but at the same time, it's you also got to say it's their game. Is what it is.
Did they ever say anything about those AI pictures?
Not to my knowledge. To be honest, I don't really blame them. I think it was I think it's a little strange that they couldn't immediately peg them as being AI. Like, I took one look at them and was like, that is AI generated, clearly. I'm surprised they didn't tell immediately. And I hope they got their money back from that artist, quite frankly.
I think they knew and were just hoping no one would say anything. I know that sounds like a conspiracy theory, but how do you not notice?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I don't know anything for certain, but I would certainly agree. When I saw them, I was it struck me immediately. There was no question.
This is all
they could not know that.
We can go back to Brandenburg if you would like.
I would love to.
One location that I really like in Brandenburg is this little house, a little south of it. It's just sometimes it spawns with a zombie in there, but this is any house that killed itself. To avoid turning. Those static events.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I've discovered that this little house, for me at least, disproportionately spawns that house event more than any other house in that little area. So it's an easy way to get like a revolver or a pistol. I know you spawn with one.
For now. It's good to know for when it's out of unstable, though.
Yeah. Well, I doubt this will stay. It's probably just like an extra line of code they forgot to remove. It's probably just like a little area in my game. I don't even know if it's everyone else. But I like going to that house. It's a really pretty house, honestly. I really wish they hadn't removed King Island.
Sorry, hadn't removed what?
King Island.
Oh, yes. Yes. I absolutely agree. That was a loss.
Those little challenge areas were really neat.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think they did that? I was always kind of confused because they brought them. The ones they still have do have a lot of like new interesting, like new UI elements in the menus. Maybe they just want to roll everything out with that, or do you think it was maybe they needed to balance it? Although, what do you think?
Maybe they will add it back when there's a when they update it, because they update the entire map. And there'll eventually be a point where they have to update the little challenge maps if they're going to. So that's probably what they're doing. I doubt they wanted to remove it because, everything's handmade by these devs. So
it's a lot of work.
I personally, if I made something, I would rather update it than get rid of it completely. Especially since people really liked that specific map.
Mm-hmm.
Now, about the other challenge modes, like the endless waves and the one where you could purchase things in the endless waves.
Oh, the cabin in the woods specialty something.
Yeah, I didn't care for those. I'm glad they're gone.
Well, they still have one. They still have. I think the one cabin in the woods map they have is the one where you can buy things. I think it is a disappointingly small amount, especially when there are so many good, So much of this update had so much mod stuff in it. I find it odd that they didn't take at least a few of those. The Russia map has been really popular. There's been a couple of European cities. I've seen some Europeans in the fan base who would like to see a city more in their style be represented. I've seen quite a few interesting ideas that could have filled out that space if they wanted to take extra time with Kingsmith.
I've been talking about this on the Discord server. I would love to see a medieval style mod for Project Zomboid.
It's a great
where
mod.
there's knights and halberds and all that kind of stuff set in like medieval France or something. I just think that would fit the theme of Project Zomboid with melee combat very well. And it would it's just interesting to me because there's not a lot of medieval zombie games. I mean, they don't really overlap.
All right, well,
Hey,
I think
you
we're
got
going to
any
get
more questions?
Hesphastus in here next. Thanks for talking, man. Thanks for being willing to share your voice to the world.
I'll join the stream after this just so I can watch the next speaker.
Awesome, love that. And do send me some screenshots of that cabin, though. I do want to know which one you're talking about.
All right, I actually already found it. I'll send it to you.
Nice, thanks. All right, I'll talk to you soon. We'll see you on the Discord.
All righty, bye-bye.
Yes, dummy, I am excited. I feel weird. I'm sorry. That's weird saying yes, dummy. But I see that's your name. Yes, dummy, I am extremely excited for multiplayer in Build 42. I think that's going to be the point where they finally release it and like call it no longer unstable. At least I'm hoping so. Wait, give us just one moment here. It wouldn't be a new Memphis stream without technical difficulties, of course. Pug did better than okay. Pug did great. Come on, guys. It is public speaking is like the worst thing ever. Why do you think I'm trying to make a career out of it? I'm like one of a few people who's good at it. And especially getting on here and talking about something that you genuinely love. That's always difficult. Hesphastus, I'm so excited because you finally get to tell me how to pronounce your username because I've been so in suspense about it.
I was going to say, I think I sent you a message about it. So it's Hesphastus.
Hesphastus. Okay, thank you very much. But Hesphastus, thank you so much for being here and coming to talk to us about Project Zomboid.
Yeah. I've been hyped. I've been looking forward to it all day, and I mentioned it to a few students, so when the video is up, they might be seeing the interview as well.
Nice, absolutely. I'm hoping it gets out there. I hope it gets some traction. I'm hoping that the devs see it, honestly. You know, that real, authentic, you know, person to person, just figuring out where people are at with their experience with the build. That's the kind of raw stuff that you want to be seeing out there, you know? That's how you get real feedback.
Yeah, and like genuine, honest conversations with the community is honestly a great way to get feedback.
Yeah.
Mind you, it's a very fine line because God forbid, I wouldn't recommend the people who wrote Homestuck ask their community anything. But, you know,
there's
some
more
people
than a few internet communities.
Yeah. I've been thinking about your questions. For me, funny enough, my Project Zomboid experience started back in 2015.
Wow.
I bought the game. I literally had to look it up on my Steam wallet because I was like, how long has it been? Like, honestly. April 19th, 2015, I paid $15 for the game on sale.
So you are genuinely going on a decade with this game.
Yep. I've been here in 2 months, 10 years, and I have loved most every step I've taken in it.
That's got to be, I don't want to oversell it, but like, I also don't want to like try to guess your age, but it's got to be well over a third of your life. Like it's got or pretty close to it. Sorry. That's gonna be pretty close to like a third of your life in this game.
I am 29, so yeah, about a third of my life has been spent on, God, how many hours do I have in this game? We're looking at 1,684 hours, 0.8, to be incredibly specific.
That's it. That's incredible is the word. So you are certainly qualified to talk about this new build and about where Project Zomboid is.
Oh yeah, no, I am a veteran. And to answer poor Leadhead, nope, I'm 29. I'm just well-read, my guy. I'm old guard because I've lived a very long life, is the nice way to put it.
That's the flavor of life, is the trauma. You got to learn that early.
I like the spice. Yeah, my journey started back in 2015. I will be honest, I love Build 42. I feel like it breathes a lot of new, very fresh air into the game. I think the animal system is hella cool. I think the new lighting changes are a really good start. I really like the new aiming system, personally. Like, I like the idea that you can kind of line up and pull the trigger and it goes where it goes.
Mm. I also want to let you know real fast. I don't know if you're watching the vertical, but we have two chatters, Celeste Biohazard and Dummy, both of whom are really insistent that you not refer to 29 as old in any way, shape, or form.
It's not that being 29 is old. It's that I feel old.
Right. Okay.
The meat that I am in is old. 29 isn't, but god damn it,
Got an old
I'm not
soul.
gonna I'm not gonna get you demonetized by making the joke I wanted to say, but
I
something
appreciate
Kurt
it's
Cobain
always
had some point.
appreciated. Thank you. I do prefer to not get banned on Twitch. I know it's going to happen eventually for something stupid, but we can put it off by even one more day, you know.
I got you. Don't worry. Mind you, with all of the praise, all of the glazing I just popped off with, it's not perfect.
Right.
Like,
well, before
the
sorry,
obvious...
I'm going to interrupt you one more time because I do want to say because like I know you're getting ahead on the questions here, but let me add a little bit of structure here. I do want to roll back and just talk. Let's talk more about your early experiences with Project Zomboid. So you started in 2015.
Oh,
you said.
God.
Like what were like
Uh-huh.
what brought you in? What made you want to keep playing the game? I mean, is it just that it was in your library that whole time and you just kept popping back to it? Was there a particular type of content that brought you in? Was there it just seemed interesting? Great pictures in the Steam page, you know? What was it? What do you think?
Okay, so it's kind of a threefold reason.
All right.
My little sisters used to play The Sims, and like all of the Sims, from Sims to Sims 3 when that was new to Sims 4 now. I saw it. I thought it was kind of an interesting game, but I wanted something more, like a little more. I wanted fighting. I actually wanted The Sims with fighting, and so I saw Project Zomboid and went, "Yo, holy shit! Wait, that's kind of what I was looking for." Second, my friends in my local community lovingly call me a zomboo. For weebs, I am the zombie equivalent. I fucking love zombies. They're just cool. I don't know what it is. Something about the concept of undeath is just fucking cool to me. I will handedly say my favorite, hands down, no contest zombie movie, the 2004 Dawn of the Dead remake. I love Romero. His zombies were a little too slow. I want my heart racing. I like the idea that fresh zombies can be sprinters.
That is the Zack Snyder one, I believe, right? Wasn't that written by James Gunn?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're just like a big fan of zombies in general. Were before Project Zomboid. Love the sprinters. Love the idea of zombies having some energy.
Yeah. Final reason. My childhood, as I mentioned, was colorful, interesting. My dad encouraged me to be a survivalist. I have spent probably more time in the woods than some people have spent at their jobs. I had a spring break where I ran away from home because I had an issue at home, and I just fucked off for like a week, just in the woods, just by myself. I want to say I stole my dad's 308, and I had my bow so I could go quietly, and I had a hunting knife, I had a sleeping bag, I had a pup tent, and I had just the random bullshit that I needed to go boogaloo. And I booged. I was fucking gone. I bathed in the river. I covered my tracks so my dad couldn't track me. I smothered my campfires. I made sure that they didn't actually leave a smoke trail. I straight up fucked off into the woods for a week at 15 years old. And if I had to do it again, I absolutely could. I'm fat, I'm comfortable, and I don't want to. Not yet.
This is actually making a lot of sense. I believe when we were talking about potential build locations for a multiplayer server, your choices were all like the remote cabins.
Yeah, I was like, hell yeah, let's go out in the woods. I'll go forage some food. I don't give a shit. Let's go. And everybody was like, but city life. I want my Spiffos burger. And I was just like, God, man, but fucking, let's go hunting. I want to skin a deer.
Hey, well, you forgot I grew up in spitting distance of Chicago. For me, it's all the ballpark hot dogs. That's what I'm going to go for.
Oh, yeah. Chicago dogs slap. I can't even judge. So, I get
honestly, that is the one thing. I will dog on Chicago all day, but man, I can't judge the hot dogs or the pizza. God damn, Chicago has good food. But you're more of a trapper type. The recent what do you think the recent update really did? Because you have a lot of really strong positive feelings toward Build 42. Not like that were toward the update itself, not even just the ones you already had toward the game. What do you think? You think it just hit like a niche with you? That it's just like did things that you just really, really wanted to see in the game?
So, in Build 41, for people who like to go kind of rustic, go outdoors, there really wasn't anything to do. You could set traps, and then you had to be at least 80 clicks away. Otherwise, nothing would get caught, and you wouldn't catch any food, and it sucked.
Well, if a
And
rabbit
if
hears
you,
you from another zip code, yeah, they won't go.
yeah, and if you wanted to have a tent, you could grab a tent. It weighed like 10 pounds, and then you'd go put it up. And if you slept in it, you were entirely exposed to the elements, and you'd get sick and die instantly if it was even slightly colder than warm. And, no sleeping bags, no pillows. There was no way to make it any better sleeping. It was poor sleeping all the time, every time, and it sucked. If you went foraging, like, you could find, like, stick, rock, plant. And the plants were useful. The rocks were rocks. They sure were rocking.
They indeed were rocks.
And the sticks were sticks that I could just get by cutting down a tree, and using the whole goddamn tree instead of the stick. So now I can actually go in the woods, and I can find a deer trail, and I can track the deer to the river that they're getting water from. And sometimes I can find I can find them, or I can find other animals. I'm really excited for when they actually add predator animals, because I like the idea of getting jumped by a wolf up just in the woods, and like having to empty a clip up on some wild dog or something crazy.
That would be cool.
Or like, God forbid, a bear. But with all of that, like just that is like a small niche was really nice quality of life. The first time I skinned an animal, I got a fair amount of, well, I say fair, I got a decent amount of leather, like enough for like a pair of pants, which depending on the leather working that you're doing, how good you are at it, that if you skin a whole deer, you're lucky if you can get that. So that makes sense.
I'll say the meat was a little disappointing, though, for me personally. The amount of meat you get off of a whole cow is a bit sparse.
So I do have. I can kind of see the logic on it. If I had more experience with the butchering system, I would have a more fair opinion of it, but I don't know if having higher levels of butchering gives you more meat, or how much more meat you get. What I will say is that the first time I butchered an animal, I had killed a rabbit. And my dad helped me skin it, and he told me about all the locations that I needed to not clip, because if I hit them with my knife, the knife would get covered in bile and other disgusting stuff, and if I got that on the meat, it was ruined. And I was like, oh, I'll totally be fine. And then I totally fucked it up, and we couldn't eat it. Just at all. All of the meat was ruined. It was worthless. But I got to keep the hide. And until my dog chewed it in half, I kept that hide for quite a while.
And yet you're excited for predator animals. What?
Yeah. No, well, I mean, like, dogs are dogs. They get chewy. But no, like, I could see for, like, somebody who's never butchered an animal before, absolutely ruining an entire cow would not be outside of the window of possibility. So getting, like, 20 pounds of beef chuck on a 400-pound animal isn't outside of the wheelhouse, especially if somebody like clips an intestine, covers all of the meat and shit. I honestly, if they want to do it like that way, if they want to give me 400 pounds of tainted meat and 40 pounds of untainted meat, I would take that. That would be funny.
You can use it for fishing.
Yeah, absolutely. I would use poop meat for bait for fishing, and then I would use the meat that I could eat for eating. But I don't know how hard that is to code. I'm not a code monkey.
Same.
That's as far as my opinion can really go on that matter. But like the new tracking system, I really like. I've gotten to tracking 6, and like you see a lot of shit. Like, pun intended. I don't know if like they intend to add like a guano system eventually, but like that would be really cool if there were like actual like droppings and trail like markers like that. I think the highest I've gotten to is Butchery 3, and I didn't notice if it made that much of a difference.
I will say one thing about Build 42, despite adding in all these interesting new skills, it still doesn't fix one of the issues that Build 41 had, and that there's not a lot of incentive to get all the way up the tiers of any skill in particular, outside of maybe carpentry, the weapons.
So, and that is kind of the thing, is as much as I glazed it, as like I was saying, like as much as I saw a lot of positive and a lot of really interesting, nice mechanics, there's a long way for it to go. Like metalworking isn't as hard as they're making it to get into. Like I have a friend who lives in the Bay Area. He's literally learning how to do like jewelry making, like actual like jewel smithing or jewelry equivalent smithing. I can't remember what the hell the actual terminology is called. But he took like a blacksmithing class. If they wanted to be really technical, there's technically blacksmithing, white smithing, and red smithing, but we're not. God forbid they turn that into actual like 3 differentials, because that would
they
be
would.
fun.
Don't give them ideas.
Indie Stone, please, for the love of God, ignore what I just said.
We don't need more spaghetti code, please.
Put it all under one category called metallurgy, please, God.
And all before they even touch NPCs, before they even try.
Yeah, but like making a actual forge is like mud, and letting the mud cool, like piling it up into a pile when it's nice and wet and letting it harden. Any jackass next to a clay deposit could do that. It wouldn't look pretty. It would probably fall to pieces and like break from the heat eventually. But they could do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if all you need is a hunk of metal to put on the end of a stick so you can smack zombies with it, is not.
Yeah. I bet Oklahoma has good clay. Thank you. Let it.
Honestly,
but
Kentucky should have a hell of a lot more clay in it as well.
Oh God. Yeah.
It's like most of the soil there in the parts I was driving through.
But like I was saying, the gun system. I thought Build 41 and Build 40's gun system was really, really weird. Like having a handgun. Like, because, okay, I have helped friends of mine learn how to shoot. And I've tried getting other friends of mine to play Project Zomboid. And the shooting system was one of the largest barriers of entry. Any random asshole with a handgun statistically could hit the broadside of a barn. Hitting a moving target is hard, but like holding a handgun up, pointing it at the thing and firing from 15, 20 feet away, you're at least going to hit them in the chest. You're at least going to hit them, but it's not necessarily going to kill a zombie, because if it's headshots only, like you need to hit him in the goddamn head. And I could see that. Missing every shot, having no torque, no body movement from the zombie at all, having it just walk up to you while you empty a 15 clip at nothing is ridiculous, because I had a low percentile chance of walking, or because I took a step and 0 skill in shooting. So I like the new system because, in the new system, a person, because I've tested this, I was interested, a person with 0 skill while moving can still hit the target. It's just less likely to actually kill the target. But you see, like, the body jerk back from the bullet. You actually watch, like, the bullet go to the target, and the target jerks and actually reacts as if it's been shot. And that's fucking cool. It's immersive. You feel like you're wasting ammo, and you're just like, oh God, please work, please, please. Versus, I missed, I fired and I missed, and then I fired and then I missed again, and then I fired and then I missed, but I hit something else in the background. Like, what the fuck? And it's just like honestly, I think that's more of like a primal monkey thing in the brain, where it's like, oh yeah, I watched the thing get hit. I did something.
Well, let me ask, how would you compare the gun systems as far as their usability, as far as their intuitiveness for new players picking up the game for the first time, and as far as their, I don't like the word realism, but as far as their how fun they are, to shoot a zombie. Do you want to go out and shoot zombies with these guns? How would you compare Build 41 and Build 42?
Okay, Build 41 to Build 42.
Yeah.
In Build 41, I would say that the system was intuitive for what they had.
I would agree with that.
Considering
it was
the
simple,
SpaghettiOs in the code. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, it was SpaghettiO code, but it did what it needed to do. But it wasn't fun. Like I was joking about that. I fired and I missed, and then I fired and I missed again, and then I finally hit it once and I got 5 experience.
The Morrowind problem.
That being said, though, like it felt like Morrowind's luck system, just that like, okay, I'm unlucky. Okay, I'm unlucky. Okay, I'm unlucky. Oh, I've been bitten in the throat because I tried to use a handgun from 2 feet away.
And it was slightly foggy. I walked
Yeah.
1 step.
There was a single drop of rain. Mercury was in Gatorade, and I am depressed. So
Jinkies,
my
I dropped
gun,
my glasses.
I was holding my gun sideways, and it didn't fire anywhere. Kind of shit.
Yeah.
With build 42, I pick up a gun, I aim it in a direction, and it has a little reticle. And that reticle either grows in size based on how hard it's going to be for me to hit the thing, or it shrinks ever so slightly close when it's easier to hit. And like I was saying, with a character who was literally not spec'd for guns at all, I think I made like an overweight fry cook who had like a bunch of extra cooking skills and animal handling, because I was like making kind of like a farm hand guy who's down on his luck.
Nice.
But yeah, like no experience shooting, a little bit of animal handling, a little bit of like I'm really good at cooking, so all my meals are gonna give me that sweet, sweet dopamine. I walked up with a handgun and I shot 3 times, killed a zombie, 2 in the chest, 1 in the head. And then a bunch of zombies showed up, but I was scared as shit. I started panicking, so my reticle expanded a little bit. And it felt nice. Like I wasn't incapable of hitting my targets, it just got slightly harder. But the closer they got, it still was easier to hit them. And so, like, I'd just wait till the zombies were within, like, 5-10 feet, and I'd put a bullet in their head. And that was as much as I had to do. It was way more intuitive, and I really quickly picked up on, okay, close zombies, easy to hit. Far zombies, not easy to hit. And then I worked around that. And then I finally started leveling up the dude. He died to momentum. Poor bastard hit a tree. But, you know, such is life.
This is how you died.
Oh yeah, no. Speed Demon still hits different, and doing 140 and hitting a tree really does turn you into a can of sardines.
I will admit though, I am with you in so many ways as far as the new shooting, but okay. I would no. Well, here, the only thing I would push back on is I would still prefer the colored outlines. I know they're arcadey. I admit that. I would still prefer them to a reticle, if only because it's still an isometric game. And shooting with an isometric game, I'd rather they lean. I personally, take this as an opinion, not a statement of fact to anyone in chat right now. Just because I'm the host does not mean I get to be right. I would still rather it be. I would rather they be a bit more arcadey with something like that rather than a reticle with a view like that. Especially with, in shooting around. We were talking earlier about how getting around corners and whatnot, and zombies hiding behind like one tiny tree and things like that. I would rather have that than a reticle, personally, to know this is your chance to hit. It's. I mean, the reticle does do that to some extent, but it's.
Leadhead actually put in an interesting one. He thinks that it'd be interesting if it was like a cone that like kind of narrowed in the easier it was to hit them.
That could work.
Like that could be an interesting one. And then honestly integrating the color system on that where it like kind of lines up, boom. But okay, so as much as I was just glazing the pistols, I am so goddamn mad about what they've done to shotguns.
Right there with you.
Because
right there
like,
with you.
What the actual fuck happened? It was straight up some like Fortnite nerf kind of bullshit where it's turned into a glitter cannon, and I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. Like, I literally do not know. Oh well, Helldivers 2, the shotguns still slap. Like, Build 41, the shotguns were like the PUBG shotguns with the full choke. I could see a motherfucker from 70 feet away and put a slug through his forehead. And honestly, back when I played PUBG, humble brag, I was player 156 for like a week.
Ooh, aren't you fancy? Ooh, congratulations. Back
before the Chinese hackers, I fucking went hard on that shit. I loved that game. And then they sold out to East Asia, and I was mad as a motherfucker, let me tell you. But
So Project Zomboid doesn't do that.
God forbid. I would cry. I would swear. I would call a priest, maybe. I don't know. I think I've mentioned this in the chat a few times. I like to build myself in Zomboid. And I have the expanded like lifestyles mod and like a couple other ones. I think I'm using Soto. The hold on, let me actually double check.
Sure, actually, while you check that, let me go through the chat real fast. We got some interesting comments in here. Got one
absolutely.
from MT Pockets here. Love that name, by the way. Cone might work with a controller too. I play with a controller because I have a sim wheel on my desk and don't feel like moving it. If it wasn't for a messy desk, I'd probably use a keyboard. First of all, I respect you not wanting to move that. That's a hell of a thing. But also, I feel like, the controller layout is something else we should be worried about too. I feel like that's something us PC gamers will often overlook, which I guess he is a PC gamer, but that is something that we can also keep in mind when it comes to the reticle and what it looks like. That's why I wanted to stop. I hadn't even thought about your controller setup.
No, I think that's a really good idea, and I think that dude is onto something right there.
Yeah, and I do agree with Saul Eliseo here. I definitely like scatterguns should be at the point where, let's say hypothetically, you're a game developer and you decide to program your shotguns so that if you shoot a shotgun and it hits a zombie, you then roll a dice to see whether or not you hit and do damage to the zombie, even though you hit the zombie. Perhaps you should stop and ask yourself, is this how we end up with spaghetti code? Perhaps you should ask yourself that as a game developer, and you just chill. Just let people shoot zombies, Just let people kill zombies with shotguns. It's fine. You don't have to overcomplicate it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. I don't know. Maybe that's
also Leadhead, thank you for putting Young Scrolls up in the chat. I just noticed that, and I was just like, hey, nice. So I found it. It's literally simple overhaul traits and occupations. It adds like depression, it adds panic attacks, it adds a bunch of other stuff. It also adds like I want to say it adds like a couple other like big ones that are pretty good. But like like taut, like it actually like you kind of have like a natural build. Strong back, so you can actually carry like 2 additional pounds of stuff without getting overweight or like over your threshold.
Nice.
It adds a bunch of little like quality of life stuff that I think adds a little more depth to the character design. Paired with that, I also really like the lifestyles mod. I just like being able to play music and like clean my house and actually like keep things organized. I love my friends, but the motherfuckers would drive me insane in the apocalypse. They just leave shit everywhere. They're just throwing shit on the ground. I would blow their fucking kneecaps out with a 12 gauge. I fuck them.
Well, it's better than having paperwork and whatnot, or ammo just scattered around your base. I mean, who wants that? Just blow your friends out with a shotgun. Yeah.
Who throws a bowl of fucking, like, beef stew just in the middle of the kitchen floor? What fucking manimal is out here throwing bloody baseball bats and empty water bottles that they're not using anymore in the middle of the goddamn bathroom? Like, what the fuck, guys? At least personally, like, that's the kind of OCD shit that I'm just sitting here like, if you weren't one of the only people left alive, I would slaughter you. But, so for the shotgun criticisms, I have a very particular build. I have a very particular style of gun that I like. I like the shotgun. I like to have a choke on that guy, mostly so that I can get the better damage, tighter cone. I want to hit men from far away, and I want them to turn into meat shrapnel. I recently, trying to shoot one zombie, fired 7 goddamn shells with aiming 5, and I missed every fucking one.
Yeah, it sounds like Build 42 shotgun.
Like, it was literally a confetti cannon. And on the eighth fucking, like, slug, I finally hit the bastard, and I didn't do lethal. It just... he body chucked and just kind of like wiggled at me, and I was just like, what the fuck? So I reloaded a shot and I fired again. I reloaded a shot and I fired again. I went through 12 shots before I finally killed the son of a bitch. And I was just sitting there like, this isn't fun. This is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't figure out what it was. I couldn't figure it out if it was like a barrel of the gun versus where I'm aiming kind of thing. I couldn't figure out if it wasn't just like over like the direct target or what it was. So I drove around and I had like 200 shotgun shells on me. So I went, fuck it, I'm going to go test it.
Time
So
to
I
go to the
drove
mall.
out. Yep, I went around and I just found the closest horde I could, racked the shells, started firing, and hitting a crowd was easy.
Mm.
Hitting a single zombie is like fucking, I don't know, just shit. It feels like shit. I was trying to find a nice, fun euphemism, but honestly, it just felt ass.
Mm. All right. Well,
It was like-
we need let's race through 2 more questions here because I feel like it's a little unfair to Pug to go on too much longer. But we're gonna try to get through these next 2 questions though.
Speed run, baby.
As far as what you would like to see change moving out of unstable, for build 42, I'm gonna assume the shotgun is high up on that list, quite understandably.
I would like shotguns to feel like shotguns. They are a war crime for a reason. Let them be the war crime they were always meant to be. I want the shotguns to be better. I want them to fix the goddamn calorie system. Because, like, literally, just go to the fucking store and look at the details on the items. It would take maybe a fucking hour of research. Look at a can of Chef Boyardee. Look at a can of beans. Look at a can of fucking split pea soup or whatever. And then whatever number it says on the calorie per serving, write that shit down. And that would be fine. Balance the math around that. We have so much nutritional data on the human body that there's no goddamn reason not to just use those numbers.
This has been something that muddles the realism argument among a lot of the more like hardcore Project Zomboid players because you have to go to a point where like, the number of calories you would find in an average mini mart as far as snacks and sugary drinks, you could probably live there if you exercised enough to not just destroy your body eating sugary snacks every day. You could probably live there for a good couple of months off of like one mini mart as a single person, as opposed to Project Zomboid where you got maybe 2 days worth of snacks and that's about it.
Yeah, with it also like the amount that you are eating, like I'm gonna just very quickly, like I weigh 330 pounds. I am a whole lot of me. I'm 6'2". I look like a fucking small black bear. I eat 2 meals a day. I eat about 800 to 1,000 calories for breakfast and about 1,000 calories for dinner.
Okay.
And I do not eat lunch. I eat from 8 to 5. Or I eat at 8-ish and I eat at 5-ish. And throughout the day, I'm not fucking hungry. Like, I'm not that hungry. Back when I was eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, there was a reason I got fat, because all my goddamn meals were like 1,000 calories.
Welcome to America.
Yeah, no, like, God, the amount of carbohydrates we put in everything.
It's so bad.
But I digress. There is literally no reason just not to use the math as it is. Like, even if you are being tediously realistic, the math has already been done for you. You just have to read it.
Mm.
You don't have to make up a new system. You don't have to go through all these jumps and hoops and systems and make special math. Just fucking look at the numbers and be like, yeah, that works. Call it a day.
Mm. So I'm getting
I would
shotguns and calories are the 2 main things you need to see changed.
Shotguns and calories, absolutely. And my little pitch in the nubs. I would really like it if, oh my God, why am I drawing a blank on the one thing that pissed me off like so much yesterday?
Well, let's get one more thing here. Like I said, we have gone a little over, but I do want to get your one last statement from you though. What is something that you absolutely would not want changed? That one thing that you say they nailed it, it's good, don't touch it.
You're gonna be mad at me. Muscle strain.
Muscles.
Honestly,
interesting. Okay.
I think that multi-hit is fantastic for people who want an easier experience and to feel like they're like cleaving through hordes. That is fine.
Oh yeah,
That
they,
is
who want
cool.
the easier experience? I can hear it in your voice. Yeah, yeah. Though
Oh,
for
well,
those who want an easier experience,
I am saying this as somebody who has done full contact martial sports. I've done HEMA, I've done wacky bats like Belagarth and other foam fighting. I've done martial arts. Swinging a fucking baseball bat is not going to hit 3 people in the head at the same time. At least not with the same momentum that would be necessary to cave in a zombie skull.
there's definitely truth in that. Yeah.
So, like, to that extent, multi-hit is cartoon hee-hee fun times. And that is fine. That is fantastic. If that's what people want from their zombie game, fuck yeah. That is great. But I digress. I think that people really, really overestimate their badass scale. I like because you were swinging the crowbar after doing some push-ups and you were like sitting there just like motherfucker.
Yep.
I remember when I had first started getting into sword fighting, I was given a proper sword, I was put in proper armor, and I was told to swing it 100 times. Just however I wanted to at a pel. And just hit it 100 times as hard as I could and see how long it took before I decided that that was kind of shitty. And around the 26th-ish swing, like about a quarter of the way through, I was sitting there just like, I hate this. My arms hurt. I'm sad. And I was like, screw it. 100's 100. I'm going to get there. And I got to 60. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing to myself? And then I got to the 100 and I dropped the sword and I went and I sat down because I didn't want to think about lifting my arms because it was kind of a lot. Like to actually swing full contact as if I was trying to kill my target.
Yeah, I believe Pug brought this up too. There is definitely a sense in which you need to understand that, like, you know, when you swing a fire axe at somebody, you're gonna feel it.
Yeah, like have you ever swung a baseball bat at a like pole, just like a hard pole
yeah.
that isn't going
Oh
to
yeah.
move?
Oh, I own an
How do
actual
your-
Louisville Slugger. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Ooh, hell yeah! But yeah, how do your hands feel after you make that full contact?
Something like Jello, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Do you think you could do that 10 times back to back?
Probably not.
Exactly. And so like when your forearms start to burn, when you start to feel like shit, that's fantastic. I don't necessarily think that people need to stop for a little juicy juice in a little PB&J sandwich every time they go kill 5 zombies. But like if my arms are sore, hell yeah, I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to go rest my arms. I'm going to like catch my breath, loosen it out, get back in there, and then run back in and start swinging again.
Do you think it'd be better if they added a massage gun to the game?
Oh, the modding potential. God, don't get people started there. But honestly, that'd be kind of funny. But
I think it'd be hilarious, actually.
Honestly, I don't
I
think
would love to
they've
see
done
the animation
enough.
of your character just standing there, just going up and down your arms. I think that'd be incredible.
Yeah. Dummy Val's out here just like, yeah, we're cooking.
Yeah, I apologize, Dummy Val. I was watching the YouTube shorts as well. I have it pulled up, but it didn't update, so I apologize. I didn't see you were still messaging. I apologize for that.
So I'm gonna say something controversial. I think that muscle strain needs to be expanded. If you actually are out here
Really?
jogging and sprinting, I want your legs to hurt, and I want it to slow down your movement speed.
Interesting. Okay.
Like, well, when's the last time you ran 2 miles?
Oh, it's been a while. Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah,
while.
you think you're gonna do it without stopping?
No.
Goddamn right you're not. I fucking wouldn't even pretend I'd get a half mile without being
here's
winded.
where I will push back though. If you're gonna make it that you know, if you're gonna make it that tough to get through, I think it should build muscle. Like you should actually get stronger from it. You should become a better sprinter. You shouldn't have to go home after getting muscle strain and then do push-ups to strain your muscles to get stronger.
Strength and fitness should not be that hard to level up. I will straight up say that. It will be a dying breath of mine. That is something. I think that is the third thing. I want them to change the way that strength and fitness level up. Because if I am out here swinging a goddamn 5-pound axe through the heads of 1,000 zombies, my arms are gonna get buff. If I am gonna sprint through an entire goddamn town, I'm gonna get fit. My lungs are gonna expand. I'm gonna fucking breathe like a champion. And it's going to smell like shit because I'm surrounded by zombies, but I'm going to breathe. I'm going to be real good about it. And I think the devs are making strength and fitness arbitrarily hard for no reason.
I'd agree
What's
with that.
what's the bad part about having somebody at 10 fitness and 10 strength by like the first month?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're not being rewarded nearly enough for the amount of interaction you are having in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that letting more things level up your strength and level up your like fitness would absolutely make people feel more rewarded for the muscle strain they are experiencing. And as an added caveat, the stronger and better fitness you have, the less muscle strain you should acquire. It should slow the buildup because you're more used to it.
Mm-hmm.
You've adapted. You've gotten better. You've gotten stronger. Then you go from, like, God forbid you build like the unfit, obese character on day one, but you should feel like an out of shape fat guy if you do that. By month
I don't come to games like this to play my real life. I don't.
Well, yeah. That's why I build like strength 7, fitness 6 characters. Like, I'm not dumb, but when I play me, god damn it, I'm an out of shape fat guy. I'm tired, I'm winded, I go about a half a block and then I fucking stop because I know better.
I respect the honesty in it. I respect it.
I will not sprint. I will jog because I know better. And if I see a sprinter, I'm gonna shit my pants and jump into the closest house. I was trying to say into, and I wound up just blending the words like a meat computer. I will absolutely jump into the first house, seal that door, and just walk away because fuck that. I'm not sprinting. And if I can't cave its head in safely, fuck no, I'm not going to try to face that down.
Yeah, honestly.
I'm going to get the hell out of there.
I got to say, I feel like sprinters are still not as well optimized as they could be. You know, it feels like they're too destructive. They're too strong. They're too strong.
I kind of like it though. So I will be
a masochist.
Really quick, well. I also have 1,700 hours ish in the game, but I will say that the way that this is my extra special me build, because I'm a masochist. Insane population, low chance sprinters. So, and I also make the zombies like they have regular perceptions, they are regular zombie noticing, they have a short-term memory, and they are low durability and low toughness. So they're physically weaker. They're dead, like they're decaying flesh. They're not able to quite grab nearly to the same extent. Is kind of the way I play it out in my head. Is like though the muscles are firing, the brain is damaged. God forbid it's like rabies or some other shit, but like the atrophy is going to be there. They're not going to have the same grip. They're not going to have the same prehensile strength, which also makes armor feel a little more badass. Oh, that was the fucking thing. Armor uncomfortability. Fuck armor uncomfortability. I have worn plate armor and I have fallen asleep in plate armor. They can suck my ass. There is no way that proper armor with proper padding with fucking like a sweatshirt, a long sleeve shirt, and a t-shirt underneath it isn't gonna feel fine. Whoever designed the fucking discomfort system, fuck you. But I love you.
Another one of those things they felt like they tried to punish players too much.
Fix that shit, you bastards. Because like if I was wearing makeshift ridiculous leather like that I had handmade using like MacGyver bullshit, I could see that being itchy. And that would be fine. That would be perfect. Yeah, Dummy Val has the right idea. Why is my military gear uncomfy? Motherfuckers got to be doing like 12-hour patrols and that shit. It's fine. It's not that bad. And it has enough padding that you're not actually going to like notice it half the time. I have worn bulletproof vests. It's not that bad. It's heavy. If you're not wearing the right shirt, it's itchy, sure. But like, let me fucking wear a shirt under it. And then I'm fine.
You are getting so much support in the chat from the armor. You are getting so much support on this.
And I'll top this off with metallurgy. If I'm level 10 and I make armor, that shit shouldn't give me any discomfort. That is tailored.
Agreed.
That is made for my body. That shit is a second skin at that point. Also, Daniel, I think that he is streaming from his art room because it looks like there's minis and some paint in the background. I kind of see what you're talking about with the granite kind of like counter on the side there where it kind of looks like a kitchen. But no, that's not that kitchen-y. Oh, that's hella sick. Wait, what? That's looks like a Chaos Marine.
Oh, it is the I don't remember his name. Are we gonna switch into the Warhammer talk stream? Because we can do that. We can just switch over. We can switch over.
I will be respectful about my time, and I will not let us get into Warhammer because I will get onto a mildly neurodivergent rant about orcs and their superiority. But yeah, no, that is my opinions on the matter. I love Build 42. I think it is a really good step in the right direction. I think they're in a couple right spots, and then in another couple they are making massive missteps. What's the word? Have you ever played Magic the Gathering?
I've purposefully avoided Magic the Gathering because I don't want to get sucked into it and start losing paychecks.
That's understandable. I have unfortunately suffered the curse.
Yeah.
Magic the Gathering, a buddy of mine named Casey and I had a fantastic conversation about this. He made the argument that Magic is a fun economy, where if everybody agrees and all of the decks are at the same power level, everybody has the same amount of fun. It is a shared economy and everybody's having a good time. If I show up with my hyper aggro deck and you show up with your kitchen sink, funny, haha, I'm playing a bunch of vanilla creatures that I might win on turn 10 if I'm only fighting every turn, and I blow you the fuck out on turn 2, I had all the fun, and I fucked your day up. I feel like Project Zomboid is a intrinsic fun economy, where there is a certain level of, oh god, oh fuck, oh Jesus, that is surviving a zombie apocalypse. But there's also the haha dopamine that is the video game. Currently, some aspects are haha too fun. They're way up on the haha video game side. And some aspects are way too high on the oh god, oh fuck, what am I doing, what is happening? Of the like, hey, let's be realistic. There is a fine line. I think I mentioned this in the chat. There's a fine line to walk, and I think that the devs just need to pay attention to that line. They need to ask themselves both the questions, and if the answer is yes to both, then it's good. Is it fun? Is it realistic? If it's not realistic, how can it still be fun while being realistic? And if it's too realistic and it's not fun, how can you make it more fun? If you can answer both of those questions with yes, you've done a good job. And that's kind of where I stand on it.
I think that's a very good stance. I think we're actually going to wrap it up there, but that is an extremely good place to end it out. That was a great point. So,
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, we are gonna have to give Pug extra time next time though, but that's all right. I'd rather get more good opinions. There are worse things in an interview than getting too many good opinions. You know, there's worse things. So.
Oh yeah, I am excited for somebody to come on with just hot take after hot take, like muscle strain's not enough. I want to have a hemorrhoid kind of shit. Like that'd be ridiculous.
Are you trying to hurt me? Are you trying to hurt me? Don't say that. Don't say that.
I don't know who's next on the panel, but if they open with that line, I will laugh my ass off.
Okay, so everybody knows we have a couple people in that scene in the chat who are thinking like they want to be next in line. I get it, guys. You can join the community, join the Discord, be in the comments. Let us know you're not a crazy person. And perhaps next week, we can get you in. Oh, Dummy is in the Discord. Oh, do we want to? Oh, interesting. Okay. We can get them in here then. Okay. Matt, if you think they're good, we can get them in, get an opinion.
Good luck and Godspeed, you magnificent bastard. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Been a pleasure as well. One more time, the pronunciation of the... One more time.
Hephaestus.
Hephaestus. Thank you. I will remember. I probably won't. You're going to have to correct me 4 or 5 more times.
Catch you on the flip side. I'll let you get to your next interview. I'm going to play some ridiculous dwarf shit on Baldur's Gate 3.
Enjoy the dwarf shit. Sounds great. Have fun.
Yeah.
All right, Dummy. Let's roll the dice here. Yeah, you're up. Oh, my God. It's crazy. I know. Welcome in. Come on. Come to the... I forget if I have to... You have to be a new Memphian to officially join the general chat. All right.
Wait, am I here? Oh, wait, I figured it out.
You are here. Welcome, welcome.
Yo, what's up, man?
What's up?
Dude, how we doing?
Right. I'm doing pretty well. How's your night going so far?
I'm doing pretty fantastical, if I had to say.
All right. Fantastic. That's what I like to hear. All right, so we
Yarp.
got 4 basic questions that we're running everybody through here, and I'm going to give you the same as everybody else as soon as I not lose them. To start out, I mean, where'd your journey with Project Zomboid start?
Yeah, that's a fire question. So I saw the game. I remember seeing the game when I was a kid in like 2015, like a long time ago. And then I think it was, I'm trying to remember the YouTuber. I think it was either the Ambiguous Amphibian. I think it was the Ambiguous Amphibian. I think it was that guy. I saw him do a challenge run. I was like, I have to buy this game. And I was
The
back
YouTube
in like
community has been
2020, I
like
think.
on point for like 10 years now, getting people on board to Project Zomboid.
Dude, the Project Zomboid YouTube community is so fire.
Mm-hmm. Very much agreed.
Yeah,
Was
I
there
love
anything
this
else
game.
like specific? Like, what was it that made you like? Because obviously you're still here. You're in the community 10 years later. I mean, a lot of
Oh,
people
yeah.
they buy a Steam game, it sits, it rots in their inventory. I mean, what's got you continuing to do it? Do you think it's the YouTube community? Do you think it's something about the game? Some combination thereof, probably. You know.
Honestly, the both. Dude, the game is just so like.
Mhm.
It's probably because I'm a big fan of the zombie genre. Like the last guy, like my whole family, like when I was growing up, my family would sit down weekly, watch the Walking Dead episodes
Nice.
as a whole family. So the zombie thing's always been like my kind of vibe.
Mhm.
So Project's always been like the only game where I'm playing this game and I feel like I'm just playing an episode of like The Walking Dead. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% get what you're saying with that. Yeah.
It's like the one game that gets me like actually like in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like as Festus was saying, you know, there's a straight shot from like The Sims to this game. You know, it has that aspect where you feel like you're
Oh
like
my god, yeah.
a regular person just in this world.
Yeah, no, exactly. I was also super into The Sims. Like, I really like the isometric style, just like straight like the god view, just looking down on everything.
Nice.
Big fan.
What did you think of Build 41? I mean, obviously you might not have seen it as being Build 41, but like, what was your experience with it? Like mechanically, what were you think of like pitfalls or things that you wished things you were hoping were going to be in Build 42? Maybe NPCs, maybe better shooting. You know what? Let me know here.
So I guess the biggest pitfalls I have so far is I'm not the biggest fan of the muscle strain
Okay.
in my personal
Immediate
playthrough.
controversy.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan. I think it's smart. I just think it's a little too high for my taste, so I have it turned down really low in my personal playthrough.
No
Because
judgment. I play with it
I'm
off.
stubborn. Oh yeah. Then I like where they're trying to go with the shooting because I didn't like the Build 41, like the shooting before. I didn't really like the shooting mechanics. I always ran the I think it was like the Arsenal 26 like gunfighter mod, the one that gave you
Right.
like the little plus crosshair, like completely redid everything.
So you like having a reticle?
Yeah, I kind of like the reticle. I do kind of miss the highlights though, because I like to kind of know like where my bullets are intended to go. But I do kind of like the reticle. Yeah, I'd say.
All right. So we have another person and you're playing mouse and keyboard? Or controller?
Yeah, mouse and keyboard.
Mouse and keyboard. Okay, so we have another mouse and keyboard player going for preferring the reticle. I guess this is one of those things I've had to get used to the fact that I'm the weirdo who likes the bright green outline. I guess I'm the guy. I'm gonna be
You're just
that
the guy, man. Just the outline guy.
I'm the outline.
You're him.
guy.
You're him.
That's it. That's gonna be my thing. That's gonna become my entire YouTube personality now. I hope you understand that. I'm gonna
I
steal
got
that.
you, bro. I got you. No royalties.
No, one thing we did talk about with Festus was that that muscle strain could be better if it were still really intense, but actually made you stronger and faster. Do you think that's true for you?
Oh, no, I think that's where they should go with it because if I'm sitting there chopping wood for like 2 hours a day, surely I get like a little more beefed up. Surely a little bit.
Yeah, there's definitely some truth in that.
Yeah. I just think there needs to be. I think overall there should be more passive ways to, or maybe not passive, but like more ways to gain like more fitness levels without like right clicking or without clicking into like the info and then going into the exercise menu and then sitting there and doing like your squats, your One Punch Man routine.
Yeah, I always feel a little bit sad because I'm like, they clearly worked very hard on these push-up animations, but having to strain my muscles fighting zombies only to come home and strain my muscles doing push-ups to get stronger feels silly.
Yeah, it feels really, really silly. So I think But I think if they tune it down a little bit and then have it to where if you strain your muscles and then take a rest day, you can actually build muscle and get like strength points. I think it'll be perfect. I think no one will really care.
Okay. You think no one would care?
Yeah, no, because I think it's just because it's only like bringing people like it's just slowing people down without like, so it gives people like an end goal while also slowing them down.
I could see that. I could definitely see that. How do you feel about the new environments, the new places to visit?
Oh, dude, I am loving it. I'm loving going down. I'm loving going up. I'm loving all the new buildings. I forgot
What's
what
your
the
go-to
new
starter
town.
town?
Ekron? Is that the new town?
There's a couple of them.
I know there's one that's a new spawn point. I think that's
Echo
Ekron.
Creek.
Echo Creek? Is that
Yeah.
the one?
There is also
Okay, yeah,
an
that's
Ekron too.
Okay. I think I spawned in Echo Creek and I traveled to Ekron. That's where my base is now.
With the
And those
gas
two
station.
towns are sick. Wait, sorry, what'd you say?
I was saying the place with the gas station and the
Yes,
trailer
yes.
park. That's Echo Creek. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
new
but-
spawn location.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. I like it because it's more rural. It's better for the new players. You can
Yes,
start
yes.
out.
I got another rural fan here. Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, no, I love it too. 'Cause it's a lot more fun than, because I mean, like I could spawn in Rosewood and then just instantly run to the fire station, get the fire axe, get all the armor, and then run to the police station and get all the stuff. So I like the rural. Makes me like take it a bit slower. Makes you like enjoy the game. Plus the animals.
Well, some might argue the muscle strain does that.
Yeah. Also, strain does make you play slower, but it hurts my guy, man.
Yeah. No, you have to have that balance of like things that will slow you down, but also are like feel fair, feel like they're contributing to something in the character, Are there any other big locations you really liked?
I haven't been to too many of the new ones. I'm trying to go all around. I just in my save, I just fully busted my truck, fully ran into a tree.
Oh yeah, we all have a story of wrapping a car around a tree, car or two.
Yeah. My favorite thing to do in the game, since I can't do it in real life, is to drink and drive. I kind of set myself up for failure.
It's like it reminds me of like Grand Theft Auto. It's like I'm glad people have a video game to do this in.
Oh yeah, of course. Especially with the speed demon trait, I can't help myself. I always have to take the speed demon trait, and it just gets me killed.
You're brave.
A lot, but
you're braver than I am. I never take. I couldn't. I'm too afraid of dying.
Dude, honestly, I'm also a big roguelike person, so I think that's why I don't really care about dying too much, just because I'm just so down to just restart, go again.
Nice. Do you usually end up like restarting entirely when you die? It's like straight from the beginning, or do you ever play with continue the same world?
I try to continue the same world until it gets to like, because there's some worlds I've had where if I get really late into the game, it's kind of easy for me to just die and then go get my stuff and then die again, because I just have like all this hordes of loot on my base. As long as I walk back to my base, I can just kind of keep going. So sometimes I do like to restart a world every now and then.
Okay. I do see we got an interesting comment here from Polyphemus. I still think they need the delayed muscle strain. So his idea would be you can fight as much as you want, then the next day your character recovers. Get a crazy pump at the gym. You got any thoughts on that?
No, I like that. I like that actually. I like that.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because it also incorporates, I guess, with a little bit of like, the environmental storytelling. Like your characters jacked up on adrenaline, on all the adrenaline, just fucking going ham.
I also think there's also just an argument for, if you have the delayed muscle strain, you could also use that as a way of like sort of pacing the game. Your first day, you're out there, you're killing zombies, you're clearing yards, you're clearing houses, you're collecting loot. Next day, dead. Next day, you kind of forces you on day 2 to take it easy, so that on like day 1 you still have, you're still prime. Maybe.
Yeah.
I can see it. I see it.
I really like that because it'll make it to where it kind of gives people, it kind of like naturally develops like a gameplay loop for people where you go out, do all your stuff, and as you get stronger, you can do like longer runs. But then when you rest, that's when people are like, oh, I guess I'll go, clean all my clothes so my character's not uncomfortable, and I'll go, prep all the food and go like, like just do chores and stuff.
I love that we can bond over a game where we do chores.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
I love that.
I'm sitting here, I got dirty laundry, bro. I'm sitting here, Project Zomboid. I'm spick and span in Project Zomboid. Don't you worry. Oh my god, I literally in my save, I just cleaned up like 17 like cups and bowls off my floor.
Oh, I love it. It's that I love that Project Zomboid. You know, it's like an episode of The Walking Dead. You know, it's 50%, and not even that. Like it's like 30% zombie fighting action, and then like 70% people sitting around doing laundry. But you always know the zombies are out there. You know.
Oh, they're coming.
They're coming. They're coming for you. They're going to batter down the walls of the Rosewood Fire Station at some point. You know they're going to get through eventually.
And they do, bro. They do. They do not play. They want that fire station bad. I don't know what it is, but they want it bad.
What settings do you normally play with?
I like going for a little like ever so slightly higher population than normal.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, just because I've been playing for too long. I got like maybe like 400 something hours for being generous.
Wow.
But I do think I'm pretty nimble in the Project Zomboid streets, so I don't really mind a big hordes.
Okay. What's your normal like play style? I'm assuming you got some melee thrown in there, given that you care about muscle strain. But
I'm big on the melee. I love
melee.
Yeah, I've been really liking the new crafting system because they've added a couple new recipes.
Ooh, do I got another fan of the new baseball bats?
Yes, bro.
Yes!
The steel bolts and the metal bat. Oh my god.
Fuck yes.
That's my favorite one. I literally have like 3 of them in a crate, and dude, they're so good.
Just make that's what I do. I just make like 3 of them ahead of time. Just leave them around. I'll get to them. I promise I will kill enough zombies. I promise I will kill enough zombies to get there.
Such a good weapon. And there's a lot of other ones too. Like I like that you can just like take a random butter knife, put it on a stick, and now you have a spear and all that other stuff. So I'm a big melee fan. Let
me ask, how do you feel about the crafting? Because there have been some criticisms about like the pace of the crafting. You know how like I know I've definitely felt like there are some crafting items where they're good. You go to a garage, you have the tools you need, you throw together that stuff you need out of duct tape and spit, and you have a weapon. But there are other times where it's like, do I really need these weird hyper-specific tools? I don't know. How have you been feeling about the crafting system?
Yeah, so I've been liking it. I like that they've added little things like for example, the nail, like to just put nails in a baseball bat. I have to actually go find a table so my guy can like set down the bat and then do it. So I've been liking that. It's going to be kind of a long-winded story, but I started checking out all the new crafting stuff. I found like a dead deer in my save. Just random deer in a car crash, you know. God bless its soul. Hope it died peacefully. So I steal this deer corpse, and then I take it back to my base, and I'm like, okay, what do I do with this deer corpse? I start looking up all these. I build like 7 different crafting stations just to get this leather, so that I can make a pair of leather gloves.
Oh my god, trying to tan leather.
Dude, it was the worst experience of. I was like, keep going, dude. It was like the worst experience of my life. I'm trying to like. I made first I made the wrong size drying rack. I'm sitting here trying to figure out why I can't dry this leather and it's the wrong size. How long
did it take to find those long sticks?
Dude, too long. I actually had to look up the wiki to figure out where I get the long sticks from because I was chopping down the wrong trees.
Every time. I've been there.
Yeah.
Been there. Exact spot trying to find those stupid long sticks.
Yeah, and I did. Bane of my existence, let me tell you.
Seriously. Oh my god.
Other than that, though, I'd say I like what they're doing though, because I definitely the old system where it's just like the giant list. You're sitting there looking, just going through the archives of like 40,000 different recipes. You don't even know where you're like beginning to look. So I like that's a bit. It's getting more streamlined, which I think it should be. I think like not really hold your hand. They should make it a little more like maybe just naturally obvious how to like go about all these like advanced crafting recipes like tanning leather or like metal forging. I haven't even tried forging yet. I don't even want to know.
I do think they did introduce something. They called it in build 42.3.1 because remember we're almost a third of the way to build 43. Hilariously, they added in a new system to allow you to. They called it the start of a reverse engineering system, so that I guess their long-term plan in the devs that I'm getting just from like the build reports is that they're planning on creating a system where you can either find items or you can research with, like, you take a piece of leather that you need to tan, you research it for a few hours by just like, I don't know, staring at it, I guess, and devoting that time to it, and then you build those crafting recipes so that you can get them in places other than just having to like go and find them Or like, you know, the same with like the weapons, you can reverse engineer things to be could make. I don't know. What do you think about that? Think it
I
could
think
help or could help, hurt?
I think that's definitely a great idea. 'Cause I actually didn't even realize I actually was wondering what the research craft button I kept seeing was about. So thank you for telling me about that, because I've been wondering what that was about.
It's very recent, yeah.
But no, I think that's a really good idea, because to pull from another game, I don't know if you ever played Grounded before, but like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids survival game. Super fun game, super fun game. But in that game, like the whole way you like discover how to craft is you like find stuff and then you take it to like a little research station and then you research it. And then and then it tells you here's what you make with it and here's how to do blah blah blah. So I think that is definitely the way to go, because it'll get people curious. They'll see some research and they'll be like, oh shit, what does that do? They'll researching, it'll take a little time, and then boom, they're like 40 minutes later, they have like 3 crafting like stations, and they're like, okay, word up.
You're getting a lot of support for Grounded. It was made by Obsidian, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah, I think so.
It's always a good sign.
Yeah, no, they really be doing their thing, but that game's actually fire. If you never played it, I'd highly recommend.
All right, I'll keep it on my list. Now, I think we've covered a couple of things here as far as the new locations, the new crafting, the new combat, obviously in the combat adjacent mechanics like the muscle strain. What's your short list for things that must change before we move out of Unstable?
Ooh, things that must change.
Must change.
Okay. I think must change is definitely they need to do some sort of balancing to the muscle strain, whether it's it's delayed where it's like the next day, or it like passively builds your strength and fitness. I think that is probably a must change just to get the broader audience more together and like less divided. So I think that's definitely a must.
It does seem like we have at least a couple of options as far as they can either remove it, or they can make it actually build your strength, or they could maybe move it into like the apocalypse mode. It seems like there are some options there.
Moving into the apocalypse mode would also be a good one. That would also be a really good one. I think another thing that must happen is I think we definitely need just a few more. I think we need what Mr. Man, how do I pronounce this?
Hephaestus?
Hephaestus.
Oh yeah, no,
I think we
definitely with it too. Yeah,
I'm trying. I think we definitely need to see some predator animals. I think even if it's just one, like a simple like wolf or like coyote, I think that would definitely make it a little more interesting. Because then you gotta worry about your chickens getting eaten by a coyote, so you gotta like like maybe. Well,
technically they can be eaten by a fox now. There is a meta event for that. Interestingly.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, there's no foxes physically in the world, but interestingly, you can still get a meta event. If you choose to turn it on in the settings, where a fox will eat your chickens if you don't close the hen coop every single night.
I like that. See, that's interesting. I like that. I think more of that, and I think it'd be sick if they actually do add the fox models, and you forget, and then you wake up in the middle of the night, and you look out your window, you see a fox grabbing your chickens. I think that would be sick. That
would be cool, honestly. Like foxes are the types of animals who would do crap like that,
Oh yeah, just absolutely. And like multiple times too. I think it would be sick if it could make like a recurring problem. Like if there's like little like fox family like zones, like spawn zones, where like a little family of foxes hang out and they'll steal your chickens if you don't deal with it. I think that would be cool. Do we know
how the animals spawn right now? Because I think the deer have like kind of like a spawn like circle that they will like run kind of, but they're like a certain area in which they'll stay or something like that.
Yeah, I have no idea how the deer be spawned. I was trying to figure it out because I tracked a deer for like 45 minutes last time I played. So I don't really know how they be spawning, but I would assume it's in like they have like designated zones of the like of the wildlife, not wildlife, but the wilderness zones.
How do you feel about big predators though? Because I do see Odin knows. That's gonna get me every time. Great tongue twister, by the way. Odin Nosferatu said talking about zombie bears. I mean, how do you feel about like big predators that really could
big predators
through beyond the woods?
I would love big predator. I would love to just like be walking through the woods and then a bear just there. I think that would be really fun. Okay. Just because just for the pure like fun factor of the game, just walking through the woods, bear, and you're like, well, I'm dead.
Playthrough's over.
I think zombified animals would also be maybe like a fun sandbox option, maybe not in the main game, but zombified animals would be pretty fun.
I would agree. I wouldn't be surprised if the mod community is already working on that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure some dude's already like 6 Red Bulls deep, like halfway through it right now.
Oh, not Red Bulls. That's weak sauce these days. Now it's now they're all on now they're all doing half a bottle of Adderall every night.
Oh yeah, like yes.
I did see you're getting some support over on the YouTube vertical. It's like Celeste Biohazard said they're very much in agreement with you on the big predators.
It's my goat. It's my queen for real. But yeah, no, I think big predators and even like mountain lions would also be pretty fun.
Mountain lions would be cool.
Mountain lions
very
would be
cool.
super safe. I
All
think
right, well,
also
let me get one more thing here because I think we're about
Go for it.
roughly around half an hour, and I can't let everybody run over. But
yeah.
but I do want to ask, like, what is one at least one thing? You can go give me a couple if you want, if you can think of them. But at least one thing where you are like, they need to not change this at all. Like they knocked it out of the park. It's good. This feature, I like it. Keep it. Don't touch it. What is that for you?
I think so far, I think they're doing the animals really, really well. I think the animals are going in a fantastic direction. I think everything about the animals so far has been seamless. I haven't looked up one guide on the animals. I've just been freeballing it. I figured out how to make my chicken zones. I figured out how the coops work, how all the feeding and water stuff works. So I think the animals they're super perfect so far.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a great one of those overlooked aspects of game development and design. You know, can a new player just pick it up and start playing? You know, can they just jump into it? You know, that's always one of the biggest questions.
Yeah, I think they're really doing that with the animal system. I think it's very, very very intuitive, very self-explanatory.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of right there for you. So I think they're doing great. I think they're doing great on the animals.
Go for. All right, well, I think we're gonna wrap it up there. But thanks for jumping on with me, man.
Dude, thanks for letting me on, dude. This is fun.
Trust me, it's not a problem at all. We're going to move on. We're going to go grab Allie's. We're going to read through what she had to say about recent questions. But again, man, just thanks for being on with me. This is awesome.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man.
I see a lot of support for zombie bears. And there's a lot of support for the wolves, which I'm actually kind of surprised for. This was way more fun than I thought it was going to be. We're going to do more stuff like this. This was awesome. This was great. No, this is, dude, thank you. This was awesome. Like, we're doing this again. If you want to be a part of future interviews, please, feel free to join the Discord, or if you don't like Discord, you can be just like, Discord is where we host like voice chats, so you do have to be on there at least a little bit. Or just be active in the comment section. Just let us know you're not like a crazy person, and feel free, you can jump.
Hang on, I lost my train of thought.
It's all right. I do it all the time. That's what editing's for.